I wanted to do some NFL mock draft discussion today on stream because we are officially almost 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, which is very exciting stuff. We got a couple teams with yes, sir. We got a couple teams with multiple first-round picks. We are getting even closer to it. I wanted to go over and talk about who mock drafts have selecting. I love the website or the app, The Score. If you guys ever use The Score, I think it's one of the best sports statistics apps there. So I want to go over a mock draft and just see who they have taking. Mendoza at 1, lock. 2, look at that. They do have David Bailey going at 2 to the Jets, which has been really interesting because I've all offseason long, it basically has been Arvell Reese has been the top defensive end / edge rusher of this upcoming NFL class. It really has been, Arvell Reese could have been penned in, it feels like, for a while. And all of a sudden, over the past couple of days, David Bailey's name out of Texas Tech has really jumped up to the top guy that the Jets, the top odds for the Jets to take at number 2. I don't think they can go wrong either way, David Bailey or Arvell Reese. I think both players are going to be very solid NFL players and have solid NFL careers. But I think there's a little bit more of a higher end with Arvell Reese. I think there's a little bit more versatility where David Bailey is a pure edge rusher. Arvell Reese, oh my gosh, has like more of a linebacker builds and scheme fit to him. I feel like if you're the Jets at 2, you should go with the versatility more than you should go with the pure edge rusher, because when Jets take pure edge rushers, it hasn't really worked out in recent years. But either way, I don't think you can go wrong, David Bailey or Arvell Reese. David Bailey's name has jumped up on the odds recently, so maybe it is David Bailey. See, if Arvell Reese falls, this has the Cardinals at 3 taking Arvell Reese. That wouldn't surprise me at all. The Cardinals are one of those teams, though, that have been rumored to take Jeremiah Love and increase their running back room. I've seen them take offensive linemen like Spencer Fano or Mayuga from Miami. It really, I think, depends on who's there. Congrats, Koa. $10 group break credit give you. So if there's any group breaks you want to get into, let me know. But congrats, you won the $10 group break credit give you. I don't really know where Arizona goes with this pick. Their head coach was the offensive coordinator from the Rams for the past couple of years. I think it's Matt LaFleur or Mike LaFleur. No, Mike LaFleur. It's whatever the Packers, coach's brother is. LaFleur, yeah. But I don't know. I forget if it's Matt or Mike. That's kind of what I'm trying to remember. I think Mike is the offensive coordinator that now is the Cardinals. For Green Bay. Oh well, we'll find that out right now. But yeah, Arizona at 3, taking Arvell Reese. If he falls to 3, I think he's the definite pick here. And I wouldn't be surprised if Arvell Reese and David Bailey went 2 and 3 in either order. This does have the Titans taking Jeremiah Love. People believe Jeremiah Love is the #1 player in this upcoming draft class. Okay, cool. And people have Jeremiah Love, as the #1 player in a lot of these, rankings for just who's the overall player, even over Mendoza, over Arvell Reese. I really don't know where Tennessee's going to go. I've been saying all offseason that if I'm Robert Saleh, getting the head coaching job, being an ex-defensive coordinator and defensive-minded head coach, I am surprised to see them going high-end offensive talent. If Jeremiah Love gets picked at 4, I saw he would be a top 4 highest-paid running back on a yearly basis immediately. Don't know if I love that for a team like Tennessee that's trying to build around the edges and trying to build their lines before they really start competing again in that AFC South. I don't know how much I love it. I do love Jeremiah Love and Cam Ward as a backfield. I think that would be electric. With them bringing in Wan'Dale Robinson, they brought in Daniel Bellinger from the Giants as well, all coming over with Brian Dable. Definitely going to have to go more skilled players in the 2nd and 3rd round, too. I expect them to go wide receiver at some point early in this draft. I expect them to go with a tight end at some point, too. I just don't know how I'd feel about Jeremiah Love in Tennessee as their 4th overall pick. This has Sonny Styles going 5 to the Giants. That's kind of what everyone's been expecting, is they're either going to go Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs. I just think it's very interesting to see a guy like Caleb Downs probably be the better name and better value all season long for Ohio State, and then out of nowhere, Sonny Styles has this great combine, and Sonny Styles completely jumps him, even though production-wise, it feels like Caleb Downs has been the top producer for the Ohio State defense all season. So depends on what Harbaugh wants to value. If he wants to value that Kyle Hamilton, Ed Reed position that he's had for his entire career, or if he wants to go with that linebacker position, which he's always, Roquan Smith, Ray Lewis, all the great middle linebackers. I could see it going either way. I do think there's a higher ceiling with Sonny Styles, just because he plays linebacker. But I don't know still how much I like him over Caleb Downs definitively. First offensive line of the draft, they have them going to the Cleveland Browns. Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. I have never seen Freeling be the top offensive lineman in a mock draft, so this is surprising me, which tells me Mayuga's falling and Fanu's falling. Interested to see where they end up, but Cleveland needs offensive line help. It's like kind of satisfying. And you got a nice little, it's actual trash ball now. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see which Browns offensive lineman they go with, but I do expect the Cleveland Browns to either go offensive line or go with Carnell Tate at the 6th spot. This has Carnell Tate going 7 to Washington. It seems like it's only a matter of time before Brandon Ayuk reunites with Jaden in Washington, is what they're saying. That's interesting. But then obviously Terry McLaurin. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Washington going wide receiver at 7. Wow, this has New Orleans going cornerback at 8. I don't know how much I love that either. If Ruben Bain's going to be on the board, I don't think that the Saints go with a cornerback. But I have seen a lot of rumors recently that there's 2 cornerbacks between McCoy and Mansour Delane, both being roughly top 10 to 12 picks in this upcoming draft. I mean, this has McCoy going first and then Delane going later. But if corners are going to go high, I'd be surprised if the Chiefs don't do it. But if Ruben Bain's there for the Chiefs, yeah, you got to take him. And I think same thing with the Bengals. If Caleb Downs is there for the Bengals, you have to take him if you're the Bengals. You need that defensive guy. You need that leader of the defense. I love both of those fits. I think Ruben Bain would fit perfectly with the Kansas City Chiefs, learning from Chris Jones, learning from Karlaftis for the first couple of years, and then sliding into that starting role in probably 2 years. And Caleb Downs, they need a leader on that defense for Cincinnati, so I think Caleb Downs is a perfect fit. And if he goes 5, Sonny Styles, I think whichever one doesn't go, I think goes 10 to the Bengals. This has Mansour Delane going 11 to the Dolphins. I mean, cornerbacks are one of the highest paid defensive players, so if you can get a guy at a cheaper price point for 4 years who's going to be your cornerback 1 for the next couple of years in Delane, I like that fit. I think Cowboys fans will be upset that Delane went 1 pick before them, but if you're Miami, you kind of need everything. This has, the Oregon safety going to the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dallas is a team that's going to trade up in this draft. I do think that come April 26th, Dallas is not going to be taking 12. I think they're going to be in that top 10 because I think there's a tier gap between the Oregon safety here and every name that we just read above here. I think there is a clear tier gap in terms of pre-draft evaluating talent levels. I think that they would want one of these top guys, whether it's McCoy, whether it's Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs. I think the Cowboys are going to be one of those teams that wants to make that defensive move. Last year, their offense was fantastic with Pickens, Javonte Williams having a resurgence season, but they had statistically the worst defense in the NFL for the past 40 years or something like that. They need to go defense. If they like Dylan out of Oregon, then go for it. I just think that they're going to want it. They're going to, Jerry Jones wants the name value of one of those top 7 defensive players in the draft. So this is Mayuga falling to the 13th pick with the Rams. The Rams traded this pick last year, which turned into James Pierce, which if you guys know, James Pierce is currently dealing with a lot of legal issues off the field. He has not been able to report to preseason training camp. I don't think he's going to be allowed to because of the legal issues. The fact that the Rams not only made that trade, but are now probably getting the best offensive lineman in the entire draft, falling to 13 with that pick. The Rams don't use their first-round draft picks unless they are guaranteeing themselves to have a superstar player. And I think this is one of those times that they're going to use that first-round pick and guarantee themselves a superstar player. This has the interior offensive lineman out of Penn State going to the Ravens. This is a really good fit. As a Steelers fan, I don't want this. I want him to fall. I want the Ravens to go skill position like they always do in the mid-first round, and he's never that impactful. But they did lose Tyler Linderbaum in free agency. He's not going to be a center, but he is an impact guard, and they need an impact interior offensive lineman, so it would not surprise me at all to go there. Wow, this has the Buccaneers going Kenyon Sadiq. I don't see this at all. Especially after they signed Kadon to a 3-year, $30 million. I do not see Sadiq going before Makai Lemon. Definitely not. No way a team takes him over Makai Lemon. Even I would say Jordan Tyson. That's a stretch to take Sadiq over Jordan Tyson. This has Makai Lemon going to the Jets at 16. That is the best case scenario for the Jets, is that Makai Lemon falls to 16 and they get to take their wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 of the future next to Garrett Wilson. If they can get the best defensive player in the draft, Arvell Reese or David Bailey, and get a top 2 to 3 offensive player in this draft in Makai Lemon, perfect. Perfect draft for the Jets at 2 and 16. Lions taking an offensive lineman. Obviously, we knew Penei Sewell is shifting to left tackle to replace Taylor Decker, but after Taylor Decker retired, they're going to need a tackle. Caden Proctor is the biggest offensive lineman in this draft, 6'7", 352 pounds. A lot of people have talked about moving him to the interior offensive line, depending on where he falls. As a Steelers fan, I've been saying if he's available at 21 and we can put him as our offensive guard, I think that would work a lot better for a guy like him, because he might be too big to play tackle at the pro level. I think that a guy like David Bailey or TJ Watt's going to sneak around that, that quick first step on the outside. But Proctor's a good player, and I think that a team like the Lions would be able to make it work with him. Minnesota taking a cornerback. Yeah, they're saying Avion Terrell is still probably the consensus quarterback 3, but it's fair to wonder if it's a slide because of his injuries. 4.6 40 at Pro Day. Interesting to see. I don't think Minnesota's going to make a wrong pick here, so whatever they do, I trust them. Carolina going interior defensive lineman. That doesn't surprise me at all. This is the first real D tackle off the board, so getting the top D tackle off the board after bringing in Jalen Phillips, bringing in Devin Lloyd. He's a compliment to Derek Brown. I think that's a perfect fit for Carolina. I've seen Kenyon Sadiq rumored to go to Carolina. I wonder if both the D tackle and Sadiq are still there, if they go offense or defense, but I'd love to see them go with that interior D-line. Cowboys take Kendrick Falk. Cowboys need to take defense with both of their picks, with both their top 2 picks, whether it's safety, cornerback, and then an edge rusher. I think they need to go defense with both their picks. So Kendrick Falk falling to 20. I actually really do like that fit there for him there. Oh my gosh, I forgot that Spencer Fano's name was still on the board. If Spencer Fano is there at 21 and the Steelers take him, winners of the draft, because Spencer Fano is looked at as a top 6 to 12 pick in the NFL draft leading up to it. So if he could fall to 21, his offensive line versatility, he was a 3-year starter at Utah. He could step in at left guard for the Steelers. Well, yeah, providing a long-term option at tackle if we let Broderick Jones walk. God, if Fano's there or Mayuga's there or even the interior offensive lineman that it has Baltimore taking, I want the Steelers to offensive line more than anything. Chargers taking an offensive lineman out of Oregon. Chargers' top need couldn't be any more obvious. Interior offensive lineman. We know that they have Joe All on one side, Rashawn Slater on the other. Although they both got injured last year, it was a really tough year for Chargers offensive linemen. They need more offensive line help. They need to protect Herbert. They have their skilled players. They have their skilled coach. They have the defense. They just need to be able to protect Herbert in a playoff game. I think they could have beaten the Patriots this past year if they had a solid offensive line. But they only were able to score 3 points because of their offensive line. Eagles going offensive line as well. They're trying to find a successor for Lane Johnson. They're going to go best player available. Let's be honest. Eagles are not going to get this pick wrong, and they're going to go best player available. Cleveland, wide receiver. Yep, Omar Cooper Jr. Yep, Omar Cooper Jr. Exactly, Triple G. Always football in April. When you got the NFL draft coming up soon, I can't wait for it. Cleveland taking a wide receiver. If they don't go with Carnell Tate as 6 and they do go offensive line, I think you can pen in Cleveland taking a wide receiver at 24. I'd be surprised if Omar Cooper went before Jalen Tyson. I really would be, but Omar Cooper's been flying up draft boards recently. Him, Casey Conception, with Jordan Tyson's injury. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if I like who I like more than the other right now, but I do think Browns definitely go wide receiver here. I would go Jordan Tyson. I think he's got the highest ceiling, but safer pick in Omar Cooper Jr. Bears taking defensive line. They need everything defense after every single one of their defensive players from last year basically left. Buffalo taking an edge rusher. Thank God this is not a wide receiver because all I've seen is Buffalo taking wide receivers in the first round. If you trade a second round pick for DJ Moore, and you already drafted Keon Coleman, and now you have Khalil Shakir, and you bring in Josh Palmer on a 3-year deal, and you sign Brandon Cooks, and I don't know. Don't go wide receiver in the first round, Buffalo. Go defense, bolster, take best player available. If they think he's the best player available, go with it. Niners taking a safety. I like it. They lost Tufanga 2 off seasons ago. They brought in Dre Greenlaw and Osa, but they have a clear need at safety. They did bring in Raheem Morris to be their defensive coordinator. Forgot about that. Texans taking interior defensive line. Houston taking anything defense is so scary. Wow, yeah, this has Jordan Tyson falling to 29, where he goes to the Chiefs. So that would force them to run a lineup of Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Jordan Tyson, with Kenneth Walker as the running back, and possibly Justin Fields as the week 1 quarterback if Pat Mahomes doesn't come back in time. People are calling me crazy saying Kansas City's a lock to make the playoffs next year. If they get Jordan Tyson and Ruben Bain in that first round, they're a definite playoff team. I don't love Miami going wide receiver at 30. I've seen this mocked a lot because obviously they traded Jalen Waddle for basically the 30th overall pick and a 3rd round pick. I just don't know if I'm Miami. I know they have to go wide receiver, but I'd almost wait until like the 2nd and 3rd round. I'd go best player available on defense, and I'd continue bolstering my defense if I'm Miami here at 30. I would not try and replace. One of my biggest pet peeves is when a team trades a really solid player for a draft pick and then uses that draft pick to take a player at the same position that needs to develop over some time. I don't see Miami. I mean, I could definitely see Miami doing that because their wide receiver run right now is Malik Washington, which has to be fixed. Is KC Conception the answer? I don't think KC Conception is ever going to be near what Jalen Waddle is right now. So because of that, I don't love that fit. Edge rusher for the Patriots. They definitely need edge rushers after losing. Oh my gosh, what was his name? He went to the Raiders. He was their defensive end all season long. Long story short, Patriots need a national edge rusher, and I bet you the Seahawks go Avion Terrell. No. They're saying Avion Terrell falls out of the first round because of the injury risk, and they go with D'Angelo Pons, who's a 5'9" corner. No way. No way Mike McDonald goes with a 5'9" corner. I'd be shocked. I think they'd much rather go with an Avion Terrell and just bank on the injuries. But that's going to be a round 1 mock draft. I would like to see like a little, maybe a 2-round mock just to see. Any other names? See, like this one has Fano going as high as 6. I cannot look at this and say Fano's going to fall to 21 to my Steelers just because they got him 6. Caleb Downs to the Saints. Sonny Styles. Delane, I think you could kind of pen this in. Delane going to the Dolphins. I love this fit if it ends up happening. Mekhi Lemon to the Rams. I still like this fit, even though I think he'll deal with injuries for his first couple of years. He is arguably the most explosive receiver in the draft. I do like the fit. This safety out of Toledo, I have seen mocked a lot to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Having Jalen Ramsey as a mentor is an ideal situation for him and McNeil Warren. I just don't know how I feel about it exactly. I don't know if I want the Steelers to go secondary if offensive line's going to be available. Yeah, see, there's KC Conception again to the Dolphins. I just don't love it. I think Avion Terrell here. Avion Terrell is such a fit for Seattle. I love it. I love it. And even Denzel Boston. I think Denzel Boston to Washington or to the Patriots would be a really, really good fit. Yeah. Mock draft 2 rounds. Let's look at this one. Arvell Reese going 2, Bailey going 3. So this one has Ruben Bain going first. I wonder, where is it Jeremiah Love? Washington. They signed Rachaad White. I don't see Rachaad White being the reason why they wouldn't draft Jeremiah Love at 7. Don't know how I'd love the fit. In fantasy-wise, it would kind of hurt, but still fantastic. Jermon McCoy. Wow, they really have McCoy going that high. Wow, this has Dallas reaching on that edge rusher across from Ruben Bain. That'd be very interesting. Man, if Fanu or Mayuga falls, the Rams are going to... Wow, Carnell Tate falling all the way to 14. No way. Makai Lemon 16. This does have Kenyon Sadiq going 19 to the Carolina Panthers. I like this fit, but I did say I like their D tackle fit too. So it really depends on not only who's available, but kind of what if they want to prioritize offense or defense. I don't know. If this guard from Penn State can fall to the Steelers, please fall to the Steelers. That's all I want is Ione to be a Pittsburgh Steeler out of Penn State. Omar Cooper going to Buffalo. I don't love it. Avion Terrell going to Miami. This is what I'd rather do if I'm Miami. I would go 2 corners. I'd lock up my corners for the next 4 years in the first round. I love that idea. Caden Proctor falling to the second round. That'd be a fantastic. So this has them taking the backup running back at 35, so they decide not to go Jeremiah Love. Raiders with Denzel Boston. That'd be a great fit. Eli Stowers to the Chiefs as a tight end. I do like this fit. They're gonna want to draft a tight end to be the Kelsey replacement in a couple of years. Ty Simpson to the Dolphins. Please, dear God, no. Zachariah Branch to the Steelers. Please, please, second round. That's what I want. 53rd overall pick, Zachariah Branch out of Georgia to the Steelers. He's a kick returner. He's a punt returner. He's a slot guy. He's good after the catch. That is the guy I want the Steelers to take in the second round, Zachariah Branch. I would be so happy about it. Caleb Banks falling far in just 3 games due to injury. That would surprise. I don't think he's gonna fall that far. I just want to see if they have any quarterbacks going in that 3rd round, because I know there's a couple quarterbacks that are looked at to be 3rd round guys. Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier. Steelers taking a cornerback. I like that. Steelers taking an offensive tackle here. 6'7", 320-pound guy. Oh, my God. Yeah, no quarterbacks. Wow, yeah. So this mock draft literally has no other quarterbacks other than Ty Simpson and Mendoza going in the top 100. It's so funny because like Drew Aller was looked at as well, like a 1st round pick 2 years ago, and now he's fallen all the way to like a 4th round guy. Let's see. You can pencil in Mendoza to the Raiders though. That is definitely happening. Wow, this has the Saints taking Makai Lemon at 8. Carnell Tate going 4 to the Titans. Whoa, this is a weird mock. Who's that the Ravens taking? Okay, I own Jordan Tyson to the Jets. Yeah, I do think they go wide receiver at 16. Sadiq to the Panthers. I don't know how I'd feel about Omar Cooper Jr. to the Steelers. I don't think I want the Steelers taking a 1st round wide receiver. KC Conception going to the Browns at 24. Don't hate that. Think that Browns could find better. Kendrick Falk going to the Seahawks. I would love that. Avion Terrell going 33 to the Jets. Would love that. Ty Simpson 34 to the Cardinals. Want him to go to Arizona. If Ty Simpson's going to end up anywhere, end up in Arizona. Denzel Boston to the Chiefs. That's very similar to how I feel if they got Jordan Tyson. I feel very similar about that either way. Chris Bell to Tampa Bay. They do need a wide receiver help. I don't think they go that high. Zachariah Branch to the Falcons. Love that fit. I hate to say it, but I do love that fit at 48 if he gets drafted a little higher. Steelers taking a linebacker. I don't see that. Jadarian Price to Jacksonville. If he falls to 56, Jacksonville will be all over that pick. Seahawks, Mike Washington Jr. I do think this is where they go. I really do think Seattle's going to end up with either Mike Washington Jr. or the running back out of Washington at the end of that second. I think end of 2nd round running back for Seattle. Book that in my mock drafts right now. But yeah, that's going to do it for my NFL mock draft discussion right now. Interested to see where the Jets go at 2 between Bailey and Reese. Yeah, are the Titans going to bite on Jeremiah Love at 4? What are the Chiefs Bengals going to do in this range, defense or high-end offense? Cowboys going defense. Rams, are they going to keep this 13th pick? Panthers, interior defensive line or weapons. 16, what receiver falls to the Jets as 16? This range, what offensive linemen get taken early and which ones fall, because there's always going to be a couple of linemen that fall in that middle round. Later in the draft, how do the Dolphins use that draft pick that they traded Jalen Waddle for? Heading into the second round, can Ty Simpson still be available for the Cardinals at 34? If not, will they have to trade up into the late first to take him? Maybe they do a Bills trade or a Niners trade to trade up to get him. A lot of question marks. And I also would say bookmark a running back right here at 64 to the Seattle Seahawks. You could bookmark a running back there because I do think they go running back at the end of the second.